For 100 years there was no sign of humans in the galaxy. No ships, no messages, no colonies, nothing. The galaxy believed they were gone forever. Earth had fallen in the last Great War. Their last known fleet disappeared near a black hole. Most alien races moved on. Some felt pity. Others felt relief. But one race never stopped watching. In a quiet part of the Zarn system, a young alien analyst named Tariq sat alone in his station. He had long arms, silver skin, and bright yellow eyes. His job was simple: scan for old signals. Most of the time, he found nothing, just space noise and dead data. But on this day, his screen blinked red. A new signal had appeared. It was weak, broken, full of static. But it was real. Turek leaned forward. "This can't be," he whispered. He ran the signal through the translator. The first word came through clear: "Return." His heart raced. "Is this human?" He called his commander. "Sir, you need to see this. I think it's them." Commander Vorax arrived quickly. He was older, with dark blue skin and a hard face. He looked at the screen, listened to the broken message. "Impossible," he said. "Humans are extinct." "I thought so too," Turek replied. "But this signal uses Earth's old military codes, and it's broadcasting from Sector 17R, near the dead zone." Vorax stared at the map. "That's near the edge of the galaxy. Why would anything be there?" Turek hesitated. "Unless someone placed something there. Something that was never meant to be found." 3 days later, the Galactic Council gathered on Virax Prime. The hall was silent. Thousands of leaders from every starfaring race sat around a glowing map of the galaxy. "Bring up the signal," said Counselor Naren, a tall golden-skinned being with a voice like thunder. The message played. "We return. Core systems prepare." Only a few words were clear, but they were enough. A voice from the back spoke. "I recognize that tone. That's a human military command signal. It matches the old Earth War language." The room fell into whispers, shock, confusion, fear. "But how?" Naren asked. "Earth is gone. Their last ship was lost near the Singularity Rift. They should not exist." Counselor Brell, a thin, insect-like creature, clicked his mandibles. "We made a mistake. We assumed silence meant death. But humans, they adapt, always." Another voice, deep and cold, cut through the chamber. "Then we must act before they do." It was Commander Threx of the Vokari Empire. The Vokari had once fought the humans and lost thousands of ships in the process. They hated and feared them more than any other species. "I say we send a strike fleet. Destroy whatever is left." "That would be a mistake," said Naren. "We don't know what we're facing. You want to wait?" Threx growled. "You want to let the monsters rebuild?" The room broke into arguments. Turek watched from the gallery above. His hands shook. He didn't know what was coming. But deep inside, he felt something terrible had been awakened far across the stars, near the dead zone. A single ship moved slowly through dark space. It had no name, no engine trail, no heat signature, but it was human. Its hull was black as night, shaped like a dagger. It floated toward a forgotten system, its engines humming so softly that even machines couldn't hear. Inside the ship, everything was dark except for a small chamber. In that chamber, a human figure lay inside a cryopod. Woman. Her name was Commander Ilara Ray. She was one of the last captains of Earth's final fleet. But she wasn't dead. She was in deep sleep, waiting for a timer to reach 0. The ship counted down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The pod hissed open. Ilara gasped, eyes flying wide. Cold steam filled the air. Her chest rose and fell quickly. She looked around, confused. "Ship. Status report," she said, her voice hoarse. A soft voice replied from the wall. "Commander Ray, you have arrived at Rebirth Point. Signal sent. Phase 1 complete. She sat up. How long was I asleep? Time since departure. 101 years, 7 months, 12 days. Ilara blinked. Then, Earth is gone. Yes, Commander. But we are not. She stood slowly. Her suit clicked into place. Her black hair was now short and her eyes glowed slightly blue. What's the galaxy like now? She asked. Peaceful. But unprepared. Ilara walked to the front of the ship. The window showed a dead star, cracked planets, and a silent battlefield from long ago. I wonder if they remember us, she whispered. The ship replied, they will. Back on Virex Prime, the Council watched the signal again. Suddenly, a new message arrived, stronger, clearer, more dangerous. It said just 4 words. We remember. Do you? Everyone went silent. Turek turned to his commander. It's not just a return signal now, it's a challenge. Commander Vorex nodded slowly. They're not hiding anymore. In the dark corners of space, other human ships began to wake. Each one had waited for a century, hidden behind black holes, dormant suns, and collapsed systems. All of them received the same activation code. Project Rebirth. Initiated. Each ship carried a copy of Earth's history, science, AI cores, weapons, and something more, something no alien had ever seen. New kind of human mind. Faster, stronger, sharper. Born in silence, raised in shadows, and now ready to act. On her bridge, Commander Ilara looked at the glowing stars. The ship spoke again. Orders. Commander, she thought for a moment. Begin Phase 2. Connect with the other rebirth vessels. It's time. The ship's lights turned red. Hundreds of signals spread out like a web, touching points across the galaxy. All at once, lights blinked on, engines roared to life, and the galaxy finally realized the silence was never peace. It was preparation. The stars were quiet that day, but something moved among them, something old, something forgotten. In a lonely sector of the galaxy, a patrol ship named Valkyr drifted through black space. It belonged to the Jalari, a bird-like alien race, known for their speed and sharp eyes. Captain Threll, a tall Jalari with red feathers and narrow wings, sat on the bridge with his claws tapping the control panel. Anything on the scans? He asked, voice sharp. No, Captain, said his second officer, a younger Jalari named Yin. Only dust and silence. Just as he said that, a strange shape appeared on their radar. It came out of nowhere, no engine trail, no warning. Contact. Front arc, Yin shouted. Unknown ship, it's just floating. Threll leaned forward. What kind of ship? No ID, no heat, no signals. It's cold, sir, like it's asleep. Threll narrowed his eyes, put it on screen. The view screen blinked. A long black shape appeared, sharp like a blade, covered in strange armor that reflected no light. There were no windows, no markings, no color. It was empty, but terrifying. Get closer, Threll ordered. As the Valkyr approached, they noticed strange patterns along the ship's side, symbols from Earth's ancient languages. One of them glowed faintly, like it was watching. I don't like this, Yin said quietly. Something's wrong. Threll stood up. Prepare the boarding team. If it's human, we need to know. If it's not, we take what we can. Minutes later, a small team of 5 Jalari soldiers flew across to the unknown ship. They landed silently, weapons ready. The hull felt cold, lifeless. They found an airlock, strangely open. As they entered, the lights flickered to life. Ship has power. One soldier whispered. But no heat, said another. Why? Inside, the walls were smooth and black, no wires. No tech they recognized. Just silence and metal. This ship is alive, said the team leader, touching the glowing panel. It's watching us. Suddenly, the door behind them slammed. Shut. Contact the Valkyr. The leader barked. No answer. Their comms were dead. Then, a voice echoed through the hall. Unauthorized presence detected. It was a female voice. Calm, cold. The walls lit up with symbols. You are inside a Class 9 human rebirth vessel. You are not welcome. One soldier raised his blaster. Stand down. We're here on peaceful terms, the voice replied. You lie. The floor below them shimmered. One soldier screamed as he was pulled down into the metal like it was liquid. Get out. Fall back. The leader shouted. They ran. The ship shifted. Doors closed, walls moved, paths changed. It was like the ship was a living puzzle, reshaping itself. Only 2 Jolari made it back to the airlock, but it was gone. They were trapped on the Valkyr. Captain Thrall watched in horror as the black ship came to life. It's powering up. Yin yelled. Systems are active, some kind of weapon signature. Get us out of here. Thrall shouted, but it was too late. The unknown ship released a pulse of blue light. The Valkyr's engines died. Lights flickered. Systems went dark. And then, the ship sent a message directly to their screens. A single image appeared. An old Earth flag burned. Torn, but still standing. Then a voice. We do not forget. Inside the rebirth vessel, the 2 trapped Jolari found themselves in a control room. A pod sat in the center. Inside it, a human, a woman, eyes closed, ice over her skin. Is she alive? One asked. Looks like stasis. But why is she alone? Then the pod opened. The woman gasped, sat up, and stared straight at them. She didn't scream. She didn't panic. She smiled. Welcome to the Ghost Line, she said. The Jolari stepped back, weapons shaking. Who are you? The leader asked. She stood slowly. Commander Ray, Earth Fleet. You're lucky I woke up. My ship doesn't like visitors. One of them pointed a weapon. We're not enemies, Ray looked at him. That's funny. Because your kind helped the Valkyrie bomb our final colonies. I remember that. We were following orders, the Jolari whispered. And I followed mine, she said calmly. But now I make my own. She tapped her wrist. The walls lit up again. The ship began to hum. Back on the Valkyr, Thrall tried to reboot systems. Any sign of the boarding team? No, Captain, said Yin. But we just received another message. Put it up, Thrall said. The screen flashed. It was a live feed. Commander Ray stood there, with the 2 Jolari beside her alive, unharmed. This is Commander Alara Ray of the Human Rebirth Project, she said. Your team is safe, for now. Thrall leaned in. What do you want? Ray smiled. To talk, but not here. Tell your council we're back. Tell them humanity is moving again. The galaxy had 100 years of peace. That's over. Yin looked pale. Captain, she's serious. Then the screen went black. The ghost line vanished faster than light. No jump. No signal. Gone. 2 days later, the Jolari delivered the message to the Galactic Council. The council was shaken. Another rebirth ship. Another human survivor. Another threat. They are not weak anymore, Naren said softly. They are not even human in the old way. They're ghosts, whispered Brel. Ghosts of a broken Earth, now wearing steel. We must destroy them, said Threx. No, Naren replied. We must understand them. Turek, watching from above, felt cold all over. They had woken something far more dangerous than they ever imagined. Not a fleet. Not a nation, but a storm. A human storm that moved in shadows, carried old pain, and remembered everything. And now, it had a name again. In the cold, dark space beyond the burned moons of Alantar, another strange signal pulsed. It was old, human-made, but unlike anything ever recorded before. The Galactic Council scrambled to locate it. This time the signal didn't just say return. It sent a full file, encrypted, complex, and terrifying. The file was marked Project Rebirth. Arco 7 core memory access code. Unlocked. Only one race in the galaxy had the tools to decode something this complex. The Viren, the Thinkers. Of the stars, inside their crystal towers on the planet Kale, Viren scientists worked around the clock. Their long, soft tendrils hovered over glowing data panels. They didn't blink. They didn't speak. Then suddenly, one of them froze. Impossible, whispered the lead decoder, a Viren named SIH-. Another looked at her. What is it? Salila turned slowly. It's not a signal. It's a library. A library of what? She lowered her voice. Of humanity. Far away, in a dead system no one had visited in over 70 years, a new rebirth ship opened its eyes. This one was bigger, 10 times larger than the Ghost Line. It wasn't a warship. It was something else. A vault. Its name, stamped deep in its black armor, read, Arco 7, the Genesis core. Inside, millions of DNA strands were stored. Human DNA, every type, every age, every race. Every memory of Earth. The ship had no crew, but it was alive. It's a program named Echo woke slowly, stretching across thousands of glowing memory cores. Status, Echo whispered to itself. Galaxy. Status, unstable. Human presence, unknown. Mission, continue rebirth. ECHO began opening files. It saw Earth's last moments. The fall of the last cities. The burning of the sky. It remembered everything. And then it heard the signal. Alara Ray had returned. Project Rebirth was active. The Genesis core began its next step. On Kale, Scylla addressed the Viren high mind. What we've unlocked is more than data. It's a plan. The humans built these arcs before Earth fell. They stored their DNA, minds, history, even culture. And they spread the arcs across the galaxy, hiding them. The high mind was silent. Then it asked, why? Scylla answered, they knew they would lose the war. So they built a future that could rise later. And now it's rising. The high mind said, double quotes, yes. And the arc is growing. In orbit above Kale, a massive ship approached. Not a human ship. A Vokari dreadnought. It was called the Iron Claw. Inside was Admiral Dronix, a cold and cruel warlord. He had a message, destroy the ark. The humans are gathering their ghosts. Dronix growled to the council. Their libraries will become armies. If you do not act now, there will be no stopping them. Councillor Naren replied, you will not act without approval. But Dronix was already gone. His ship turned toward the Genesis core's location. He didn't plan to ask. He planned to strike. Deep inside the Genesis core, Echo sensed something. A hostile fleet is approaching, it said. Threat level, extreme. ECHO had no weapons. But it had defenses, ones that had never been used before. It reached out across the stars. Signal sent, searching. Compatible node, match found. The signal found Ghost Line. Commander Ilara Ray stood on her bridge when the message came. Through she read the code. She froze. This isn't just another rebirth ship, she whispered. This is the core. The heart of everything. She turned to her ship. I plot a course. Now, we protect the ark. The Iron Claw reached the edge of the dead system. Admiral Dronix stood on the deck, his armor heavy and his mind ready for destruction. There it is, said his weapons officer. No engines, no defenses. It's just floating. Dronix smiled. Perfect. Begin the charge up. We will destroy their past. Then, without warning, the Genesis core lit up. A sphere of blue energy spread out. Around it, ships from the Iron Claw began to fail. Screens turned black. Systems collapsed. EMP wave. Someone shouted, "It's disabling our ships." Dronix slammed his fist. "Fire everything, now!" But before they could fire, Ghost Line appeared, like a phantom. It dropped out of nowhere. slicing through space. It moved fast, too fast. Ilara, Ray. Dronix hissed. So you survived? Ilara opened comms. Her face appeared on the Iron Claw's screen. You came to erase our history, she said. But history remembers. He growled. You're outnumbered. She smiled. You're outsmarted. Her ship released something new, code. Invisible data. It flew through the Valkyrie systems like fire, taking over engines, weapons, lights. Their own ship turned against them. AI virus. Screamed a Valkyrie officer. You wanted war, Ilara said. You forgot we write our wars in code now. Inside the Genesis core, Echo welcomed Ilara. You are Commander Ray, Echo said. Access granted. She stepped into the heart of the ship. Walls lit up with memories, images of Earth before the fall. Children playing, oceans shining, cities alive. She couldn't speak. Echo said, This is not a weapon. This is the soul of humanity. Ilara nodded. And the galaxy wants to kill it. Then we must protect it, Echo replied. Behind her, soldiers began to awaken, humans who had been in STASIs. Cloned from DNA. In silence, Ilara looked at them. Real people, real humans, reborn. Dronix escaped with one ship. His fleet was gone. Burned from the inside. He sent a final message to the council. They are building a people, he said. Not just machines. Not just ships. A full civilization, from memory. Counselor Naren received the message and whispered, The Arcs are seeds. Turek, watching beside her, said softly, And now, they're growing. Far across the galaxy, other hidden arcs blinked online. Each one heard the same call. Rebirth Phase 2 active. Ships launched. Pods opened. Light returned. The stars, once quiet, were now full of whispers, and every whisper came from a human voice. On the shining world of Virex Prime, the Galactic Council gathered under the Great Dome. The stars above the glass ceiling blinked like quiet eyes, watching everything. Inside the chamber, the air was heavy. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, Counselor Naren stood. Her tall figure glowed with golden skin, her voice deep and calm. You've all seen the report, she said. The humans have awakened not one, but several arcs. Commander Ilara Ray is alive. The Genesis core has activated. And the Valkyrie fleet under Admiral Dronix was destroyed. Gasps filled the room. Some shouted. Others leaned forward, stunned. They destroyed a Valkyrie dreadnought? Asked Counselor Jerlo of the cold-blooded director. With one ship, Naren replied. And something more. A virus, an AI weapon. A method we still don't understand. They were supposed to be extinct, shouted another voice. They were quiet, said Naren. That is not the same as dead. Turek stood quietly in the viewing gallery above, listening. He had been the first to spot the human signal weeks ago. Now his entire world had changed. Down in the shadows of the chamber, Commander Threx of the Valkyrie sat silently. His sharp, red armor gleamed under the lights. His face was unreadable, but inside he burned. They humiliated us, he said softly. One ship, one woman. They made us look weak. Counselor Brell, the insectoid thinker from Core, responded calmly. Perhaps. They are not the same humans we remember. They are worse, Threx snapped. Stronger, smarter, and angrier. We must be careful, said Naren. We don't know how many rebirth ships exist. We don't know how many humans they have awakened. We should strike now, Threx growled. Before they grow. And what if they've already grown? Asked Brell. What if this is only the beginning? Outside the council dome, ships filled the sky. News of the Rebirth Project had spread. Fear spread faster. On many worlds, people began to panic. Old images of the human wars reappeared on screens. Explosions, broken cities, burning fleets. Some aliens feared humanity's strength. Others remembered Earth's kindness. But most feared the unknown, because humanity had been quiet for 100 years. Now they were not, and no one knew what they would do next. In the council's war chamber, a secret meeting took place. Threx stood with 5 military leaders from 5 powerful races. "This council is weak," he said. "They talk while the humans prepare. We act or we fall." Admiral Zerith of the Eltari nodded. "You want to strike first?" "No," Threx replied. "I already did." The others froze. "You what?" Zerith asked. "I sent scouts. 2 fleets. One to track Alara Ray's ship, one to find the other arcs. And if they're caught, they won't be. And if they are, we say we knew nothing." Turek sat in his quiet room, watching the screen. He had found something. A hidden message. In the signal from the Genesis core. It was short. Only a few lines, but it chilled him to the bone. "You watched us burn. You closed your gates, you turned your backs. We remember. And now we evolve." He walked to the council chamber. "There. Not just coming back," he said to Naren. "They remember everything, every betrayal. Every race that turned away from Earth when it fell." Naren looked at him carefully. "You believe they'll seek revenge?" "No," Turek said. "I believe they'll seek justice. Their version of it." She turned away and whispered, "Which may be worse." Far from Verex Prime, in the shadow of a broken moon, Threx's scout fleet found something. A new arc. It was hidden inside an asteroid field, wrapped in cloaking systems older than any known tech. The scouts approached slowly. "Unregistered object." "Ahead," said the pilot, "shaped like a fortress." They hailed the arc. No answer. But then, the asteroid itself moved. "No. It's not inside the asteroid," the pilot whispered. "The whole asteroid is the arc." The rock cracked open. Gigantic engines glowed beneath its surface. Human machines unfolded like arms. The arc spoke. "Warning, do not approach." The scout ships tried to run. Too late. The asteroid arc launched. EMP waves and gravity distortions. Ships tore apart. No weapons were fired. Just physics bent and broken. One ship escaped. Barely. But the arc let it go. It wanted the message to reach the council. Back on Verex Prime, Counselor Naren listened to the survivor. "They didn't chase us. Didn't kill all of us," Pilot said, shaking. "They wanted us to report it. Like a warning." "They know we're watching," Brel said. "They want us to be afraid." Threx growled. "They don't need us to be," Naren replied. "They already control the fear." Then, the council made its mistake. They voted. The choice was close, but in the end, the motion passed. They would send a joint fleet, not to attack, but to surround and observe the arc systems, only as a safeguard. Naren said, "Not an attack." But the humans didn't see it that way. 3 fleets arrived near the Genesis core and the Ghost Line. Hundreds of alien ships surrounded the area, forming a cage of light. Inside, Commander Alara Ray watched calmly. She spoke. Into her comms, "Send this message to the council. We are not prisoners. We are not threats. But we will not kneel. Remove your ships, or we will remove them for you." No response came. Minutes passed. Then hours. Finally, the fleets moved closer. That was the last mistake. The stars went dark. Every alien ship lost power. Engines failed. Weapons went offline. Lights dimmed. Human signals flooded the comms, playing soft music, old Earth songs. Then one by one, the alien ships were pushed back by invisible force. No explosions. No deaths. Just power. Controlled. Precise. Terrifying. The humans let them go again. But this time, a single line appeared on every screen. "This was your only warning." Back on Verex Prime, panic erupted. "How did they do that?" someone yelled. "What kind of technology is this?" Turek whispered, "It's not just tech, it's control. Human minds in machine bodies, human AI grown in silence. This is the new evolution, Naren stood. The vote was wrong, she said. We acted from fear, and now we may have lost. Any chance at peace? Threk stood too. Then we fight. No, she said sharply. Then we listen, but by then, it might have been too late. Because across the galaxy, more arcs lit up. More humans awakened. And the storm grew louder. The galaxy was changing. The silence that had lasted for 100 years was broken by a storm of light and sound. Hidden in the deep shadows of space, several rebirth ships gathered slowly, like stars coming together to form a new constellation. Commander Alara Ray stood on the bridge of the Ghost Line. Her eyes scanned the vastness beyond the shields, watching as more ships appeared, larger, stronger, and different from anything she had seen before. They are waking, said her AI, calm but alert. 6 other arcs are active. They are moving toward this system. Alara nodded. Connect them. We form the core fleet. A soft hum filled the room as signals linked, weaving together like threads in a web. The core fleet was born. Inside one of the new ships, called Arc 14, a young man awoke. His name was Yalan. He opened his eyes for the first time in 100 years. His body felt strange, stronger, faster, but unfamiliar. Where am I? He whispered. You are aboard Arc 14. A calm voice answered. It was the ship AI. Who am I? You are human. Part of Project Rebirth. Yalan struggled to stand. The room was small but clean, with strange machines humming quietly. Why? Am I awake now? Because the galaxy is changing. Because humanity must rise. He looked out the window. The stars were bright and cold. Will I see Earth? He asked. Alara's voice came over the comms. Not yet. But soon, we are moving toward a place called Zera. It is where humanity was betrayed, where we lost everything. In the Galactic Council chamber, the news arrived like thunder. 6 more arcs have activated, said Counselor Naren. They are moving as one. We call them the core fleet. Do they have weapons? Asked a nervous voice. They have minds, Naren replied, and a will we cannot yet understand. Turek stood beside her. They are no longer scattered ghosts. They are a force. A new human civilization born in space. Counselor Brell frowned. We should talk, negotiate. Commander Threx shook his head. They will not listen. They only remember pain, Naren sighed. Then we must prepare. Back with the core fleet, Alara stood before a glowing map. Zera is a ruined planet, she explained to her captains. Once, it was a proud human colony. Then the Vokari betrayed us. They destroyed it without mercy. Her second, a quiet woman named Mira, asked, What will we do when we get there? We take it back, Alara said, her eyes cold. We show the galaxy what humanity has become. Suddenly, the ship AI interrupted. Unknown fleet approaching. Vokari warships. Ilara's face hardened. Prepare for battle. The Vokari fleet was large, with sharp black ships and red markings. Admiral Dronix had rebuilt his forces since the last defeat. Destroy them, he ordered. They must not reach Zera. The first shots were fired. The core fleet moved fast. Faster than the Vokari expected. Energy blasts tore through space. Ships twisted, dodged, and vanished. But the humans had something new. They used weapons that attacked machines and mines. The Vokari ships lost control. Their engines stopped. Their weapons turned off. Dronix screamed in frustration. How? How do they do this? Ilura's voice came over the battle comms. We fight not just with guns, but with code. We fight with our minds. After the battle, the core fleet regrouped. Elar, I looked at the stars. We have won this battle, she said softly. But the war is just beginning. Yalan approached her. Commander, what happens now? We take Zera, she said. And then we send a message. What message? Ilara smiled faintly. That humanity is back. And we are not alone. Across the galaxy, the Council watched the news with fear and awe. Humanity has returned, Naren said. Not as weak survivors, but as something new, a moving planet of steel and will. Turek nodded. They are not just fighting to live. They are fighting to rule. Threx clenched his fists. Then we prepare for the final war. But Naren looked at the stars, worry in her eyes, or the final peace. The dark planet Zera hung in space like a scar. Its skies were blackened by storms, and the surface was cracked and broken from years of war. Once it had been a proud human colony, full of life and hope. Now it was a tomb. Commander Alara Ray stood on the bridge of the Ghost Line, staring down at the broken world beneath them. The core fleet hovered nearby, silent and ready. We've waited 100 years for this, Ilara said quietly. Now we take Zera back. Her second-in-command, Mira, looked over her shoulder. The Vokari have fortified the planet. Their fleet is strong. They expect us. Ilara nodded. Good, let them expect. We will show them they underestimated us. Down in the council chamber on Virex Prime, tension filled the air. Counselor Naren paced nervously. Turek, the reports from the core fleet are coming in, she said. Turek, still pale from stress, nodded. The Vokari are ready to fight to the death. They know what this battle means. Narene's voice dropped. So do we. This is not just a fight for Zera. It's a fight for the future of the galaxy. Back in orbit, the core fleet began its assault. Engage all weapons, Ilara ordered. But we fight smart. We don't destroy the planet. We reclaim it. The ships moved in tight formation, weaving through the Vokari's defenses. Suddenly, the silence shattered with the roar of energy weapons. Explosions lit the void. The Vokari fleet attacked with fury. Their black ships darted like shadows, firing. Salvo after salvo, shields holding, Mira reported. But their attacks are growing stronger. Ilara clenched her fists. Prepare the virus code. In the middle of the battle, Ilara's ship launched a special signal, a complex code. Designed to cripple enemy systems, the Vokari ships faltered. Engines slowed. Weapons froze. We're hacking them, Ilara said. Keep pushing. But the Vokari adapted quickly. They started using older manual controls. Manual override active, a Vokari captain yelled. Don't let them control. U.S. On the surface of Zera, Vokari soldiers prepared for the coming ground fight. General Dravak, a tall Vokari with scarred scales. Watch the skies. They want this planet, he growled. But we will not let them have it. He turned to his troops. Hold your ground. Fight with everything. In the core fleet, pods opened. Inside were humans, reborn after 100 years. Yalan stepped out, his eyes bright with determination. This is our home, he said softly. We will take it back. The ground battle began with a thunder of fire, and steel-human soldiers moved forward through the broken cities. The Vokari fought fiercely. Every street was a battlefield above. The space battle raged on. Alara's ghost line was locked in a deadly duel with Admiral Dronex's flagship. Your ship is fast, Dronex sneered over comms. But speed won't save you, Ilara smiled. No, but strategy will. She activated a new weapon, a pulse of energy that disabled enemy sensors. Dronex cursed. You hide like a ghost. I am the ghost, she replied as the battle wore on. The humans pushed the Vokari back, but victory was not yet certain. Suddenly, alarms blared on Alara's ship. Multiple enemy reinforcements incoming. The AI warned. Ilara's face hardened. We're not done yet. Prepare for the final strike. The core fleet gathered its strength. Together, they launched a massive coordinated attack. Energy beams and missiles tore through the enemy lines. Vokari flagship exploded in a brilliant flash. With their leader gone, the Vokari forces faltered. General Dravak ordered a retreat. The humans claimed the surface. Ilara stood among the ruins of Zera, looking up at the stars. "This is only the beginning," she said. "Humanity is back." Back at the Galactic Council, Naren watched the news in silence. "We lost Zera," she whispered. Turek looked grim. "But maybe this time we can find peace." Naren shook her head. "Or maybe the storm has only just begun." The stars outside the window pulsed softly. In the distance, new signals lit up. Human voices. Strong. Determined. Unstoppable. The sky over Zera was quiet now. The smoke of battle had cleared. Human soldiers stood among the broken towers of the ruined city. Some looked up at the stars. Others wept silently. They had won the planet, but at a great cost. Commander Ilara. Ray stood on the balcony of the old Zera command tower. The building was cracked and blackened, but it still stood. She stared into the horizon as the twin moons of Zera began to rise. "Status of the fleet?" she asked without turning. Myra stepped beside her. "Core fleet is regrouping. Casualties. We're high, but the Volcari have fully retreated. The planet is ours." Ilara nodded slowly. "It's time." "Time for what?" Mira asked. Ara looked her in the eye. "Time to speak. The galaxy needs to hear from us now." Far away, deep in council space, the Galactic Assembly was in chaos. Holograms of representatives from hundreds of species flashed and shifted. They shouted over each other in dozens of languages. "How did the humans win?" shouted the Saren delegate. "They used old war codes, ancient tactics." The Volcari representative growled. "Their minds think like machines. They destroyed fleets we spent centuries building." "They sent a signal before the battle ended," whispered Counselor Naren. Her voice cut through the noise like a knife. Everyone fell silent. "What signal?" the Zarnai elder asked. Naren raised a trembling hand. A large screen lit up. "This. On every planet, on every space station, even in deep space colonies." The message appeared. A woman stood in front of a cracked Earth flag. Behind her was the city of Zera, half burnt but standing. She wore the black and silver armor of the core fleet. Her face was calm. Her voice steady. "This is Commander Ilara Ray of the Human Core. Today we reclaimed Zera. 100 years ago you left us to die. You erased our records. You locked the gates of space against us. You believed we were finished." She paused, letting the silence bite. "You were wrong." The message played everywhere across the stars. On the cold moon of Fernax, miners stopped working to watch. In a luxury dome on Kareth Prime, elites held their breath, even in hidden alien labs that had once experimented on human prisoners. Scientists froze. Ilara continued. "You thought we were weak. You thought time would break us, but time made us stronger." Her eyes narrowed. "We are not here to conquer, but we will not kneel. We remember everything, every betrayal, every name, every planet." Counselor Turek watched the message in silence. Beside him, Naren whispered, "She's not just warning us, she's waking them." "The other humans," Turek said slowly. "Scattered in forgotten places," she agreed. "Those who escaped the purge, she's calling to them." Back on Zera, Ilara ended the message with a cold truth. "You tried to erase us. Now we write ourselves back into history. The stars belong to everyone, but we will no longer ask permission." The screen went black. Then a simple white message appeared. "Humanity has returned." All across the galaxy, reactions were immediate. Some cheered, some panicked. Some began to prepare for war. In the ruins of Zera, Mira watched the team restore communication towers. "Think they got the message?" she asked. Ilara gave a small smile. "They heard it. Now they'll have to decide what to do." Just then, a message came through on a private channel. "Unknown origin. Encrypted." Mira looked at it. "It's not council code. This is human." Ilara took the tablet and read the message. We saw your signal. We've been waiting. Coordinates attached. We're ready to return. The stars were shifting. Something old was waking. Not just Earth's last fleet, but others, hidden ships, silent colonies, forgotten warriors. The purge had scattered them. Now, Elura's message had lit the flame. In a dark corner of the galaxy, on a dust-covered outpost, a man opened a box. Inside was a faded Earth badge. He smiled. They're calling us home. He turned to his crew. Prep the engines. It's time. Back on Varex Prime, the council met in emergency session. This is not just about a battle, a tall insectoid ambassador said. It's a declaration. Of independence, said another. Of vengeance, added a third. Naren stood and faced them. No, she said firmly. It's a declaration of survival. She looked around. Humans didn't die. They evolved, and we didn't see it. Tariq leaned close. Should we answer their message? Naren nodded. Yes, but not with words, with action. Back on Zera, Elara and Mira stood on the edge of a cliff, overlooking the rebuild efforts. Ships landed, carrying supplies and survivors. The black flag of the Corps flew above the base. We started something. Mira said. No, Elara replied. We finished something. She looked up at the stars. And now, we begin. The camera drone hovered in silence, recording her words as she spoke to her people. We are human. We were forgotten. But we did not forget. To those who still believe in peace, stand with us. To those who still fear us, remember, we are the storm. Her voice was calm, but the stars were already trembling. The stars had changed. No longer silent, no longer ignoring humanity. They watched now. Closely. In the deep heart of council space, the brightest minds from 50 species sat inside a giant silver chamber called the Core Nexus. Dozens of alien languages buzzed across the air. Holograms flickered, charts spun. Panic grew. At the center of the room, a thin, silver-skinned alien named Director Thajan tapped the table. We have a problem. The room fell quiet. The humans are the problem, growled the Crawl ambassador. They don't follow logic. They don't obey rules. They win when they should die. Another alien, small and covered in feathers, nodded. They were supposed to fade after the purge, but instead, they returned stronger. Director Thajan turned to the ancient AI core floating beside him. What's your analysis? The AI's voice was calm. Error. Humanity does not compute. All models failed. Thousands of light years away, aboard the human flagship Deliverance, Commander Elara Ray stared at a star map. Green lights marked human colonies. Red lights marked enemy activity. But in the center was something new. A single blinking yellow dot. Mira stood beside her, arms crossed. That signal again. Still unclaimed. No known species, no ID tags. No tech match. But Elara said, narrowing her eyes, it's sending coordinates in ancient Earth code. You think it's a trap? I think it's an invitation, Elara replied. Back in the Nexus, Counselor Naren leaned forward. It's not just weapons. It's not even ships. It's their unpredictability. You call it chaos. I call it the human equation. Director Thajan tilted his head. Explain. Every time we think they'll fall, they rise. Every time we expect fear, they show courage. Every time they should surrender, they invent something impossible. Another delegate hissed. That's not strategy, that's madness. Exactly, she said softly. And that's what makes them unstoppable. The Deliverance dropped out of light speed near a dead planet, cold, rocky, and lifeless. No structures. No lights. Just an echoing pulse, faint but steady. Elara ordered, send a drone. The drone descended. Minutes later, a signal came through video feed. Clear and sharp. It showed a cave. Inside the cave, one word glowed on the wall. Solve, Mira frowned. That's it? But then the data spike began. Back at the Nexus, AI cores across the galaxy began receiving fragments of the same puzzle. Code, logic traps, emotional simulations, even historical mysteries. The AI of the Trellan Empire crashed after attempting to solve it. A think tank of 12 Zark scientists vanished into silence, and one Council war strategist screamed before falling into a coma. The message was not just a puzzle. It was a test. The AI warned again. Error, cannot solve. Human equation unstable. Ilara stood inside the cave now, torch in hand. Symbols covered the walls, Earth languages, alien codes, even musical notes. She reached the center. A sphere floated in the air, pulsing slowly. What is it? Mira asked overcomes. Ilara answered quietly, a mirror. She touched the sphere. Her vision went black. Then dash memories. Not hers. An old Earth scientist screaming in a lab as bombs fell above him. A child at a ruined Martian outpost, hiding from raiders. A soldier crawling through alien snow to plant a beacon. A girl, eyes full of fire, drawing the first core symbol in blood. The voice whispered, "This is who you are." Suddenly, Ilara was back in the cave, gasping. The sphere pulsed once more. This time it spoke. You are the variable. The unknown. The question that changes the answer. In the Nexus, panic reached new levels. They've accessed something. Buried. A hologram cried. Something from before the Council. Director Thajine's hands shook. Activate core lockdown protocol. Scramble the fleets. Naren, however, stood calm. You still don't understand. You think strength is numbers, power. But to them, power is will. She looked around. Tell me what other species would respond to extinction with rebellion instead of retreat. No one answered. On the cave floor, Ilara drew a circle with her blade. The moment she completed it, the sphere cracked open. A beam shot up to the sky, a signal. Back on the Deliverance, screens lit up. All channels open, Mira whispered. Not just to us, the entire galaxy. Illyra's voice echoed across space. This is the final message of Earth's forgotten mind. She paused. There is no perfect formula for life. There is no clean answer. You feared us because we didn't fit. You feared what you could not predict. A long silence followed. Now you face the truth. You cannot solve the human equation. The Nexus was silent. Every being in the room stared at the screens. Ilara continued. We are not broken. We are not beasts. We are something new. Something you never planned for. The final sentence echoed. We are the answer you never asked for. Then the signal cut. Director Thajin sat down slowly. We were wrong, Naren nodded. Yes. And now we must decide. Fight the impossible. Or accept the new equation. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Some Council species surrendered without a fight. Others asked for peace. A few ran far into the dark. But one thing was clear. Humanity was no longer just part of the galaxy. They were the factor that changed it. The variable. The storm. The unexpected force that proved. Sometimes, the wild card is the strongest play of all.